So the people did not cooperate with Iran. The deal be something other, 5+1. Where the hell is the other 5? One went on about his business. The type of schools, look at this in diplomacy. They leave it's not a treaty, but an accord. And they should have learned from the accords. You remember the League of Nations from World War I? Wilson added one of the weaknesses in the League of Nations that the United States supported it, but the Senate never ratified it. So when Japan was out of line, when the Germans was out of line, when everybody was out of line, couldn't nobody do nothing because it was all too weak. And the United States was isolationist, and the United States Senate did not ratify the League of Nations. Still, but now let's get back to where we are. I'm going to try to move toward a close and stay a little more organized. So, we're the ones that arranged this. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. By the way, today is the 19th. Yesterday was the 19th, this is the 20th. Does anybody remember what day that is? June the 19th, 2009. The Rahbar came out in Iran and gave that khutbah in Juma. The people came out wearing their martyrdom stuff, and they was ecstatic. They was like, Iran had said finished. Remember how positive the U.S. was? The Greens gonna win. They still got old Rouhani, not Rouhani. They still got the Greens, Musa, and what's the other, Karubi. They still under house arrest today. You ain't heard nothing about it. You would think they was dead. They're alive, under house arrest. Rafsanjani was too big, but Rafsanjani bought it, boy. And now Zarif and lost Rafsanjani. So they're kind of rudderless. They're trying to be too Rouhani to ride, but you can't do it. You know why? They don't know how. They don't know how to fix a little problem like that. We just go over. That's what I told them. Send me over, and I'll tell all of my friends, so-called hardliners that are principalists, look, you don't know it, but they helped y'all. Now they got this in the public sphere. And they can't do nothing to you. They've been wanting to attack Iran how long? Forever. Right? They've been wanting, but then Iraq would get in the way, something would get in the way. They haven't been able to do it. So, here's the thing. I keep saying I'm going to speed up. Yes, $180 million for that drone. They sent that big slow drone over there so it might get knocked out. But the U.S. can't do nothing. Iran is not going to take in any aggression like they shoot 59 missiles like they did in Syria. They're not going to do that. Spiritual jihad use various combinations of punches and approaches. That's like Hezbollah use new punches and new combinations to fight the Israelis. We have already used, with strategic depth, we have used. Remember, our only weapon is not our only weapon, but like here, what are we going to do? We clown them, make fun of them. We immobilize them, discombobulate them. We don't lose nothing, we don't lose no sleep, and it works. All of this is worked on them. Look at the tactics in Oakland. The people have to be crazy for the things they're doing and the things they're saying. Would I have any sense messing with them clowns? Absolutely not. Why? Because nothing they say makes sense. Now we can see why the government was so desperate. Because after a while, guess what? They didn't pick up on what I was doing. The government knows what I was doing. The United States government knows, not I, Negrocious degree, not me. I'm speaking, sometimes I forget, like I'm talking about myself. I'm speaking on behalf of Negrocious degree. Negrocious is a great mythical Negro that, like Paul Bunyan, yeah. But Negrocious the Great is real. But you see Negrocious the Great, he wouldn't think he just laying around, walking around. He's the most normal. If you see Negrocious the Great, you would never stick a great pen on like you a great Negro. You wouldn't do that. You say, hey, bro, what's going on, man? You'd feel comfortable. Because Negrocious the Great is like that. Spiritual jihad. Combinations of punches that haven't been used before. Or haven't been used in that combination. In fighting, there's 4 main punches. Jab, right hand, hook, and uppercut. I mean, unless you elbow somebody, right? Now, martial arts, you can do all of that. But you can't do it in boxing. The main punches, the jab, right hand, or left hand, hook, and uppercut. Those are the 4 main punches. Now, if you can perfect those, I was teaching to my grandson, and when I saw him get him down pat, him and Saifuleen's son was going over to that tough Negro school, spin guard. So the first year they was a nice little crew-cut guys. I said, how they treat you? I had them lifting weights on me and hitting that bag. He said, man, when you move on somebody frightened, you can see the fright, this, when they cut loose a few punches, the guy been drinking and running the street, he's overwhelmed already. He said, God. Just like that, he realized he is overwhelmed. That's a bad feeling. That's in this fight, what's going to happen is Iran, like a fight I had, one of the last fights I had was with James Gaines. James Gaines was a skinny Negro. He had real money, So when he would hit me, it wouldn't hurt, but I had hickeys all over. I looked a mess. I technically won. It didn't look like it. I had hickeys. You know the niggas with skinny hands hit you, and everywhere he hit you, boom, a little knot pop up, a hickey pop up. And so I actually technically won, but it didn't look like it. I had hickeys everywhere. I said, I ain't never messing with nobody anymore. I said, and I haven't had too many fights with Negroes. That's probably my last one, over 50 years ago. Double trap. This is boss game, what we didn't use. One of the reasons nobody ever used it, they haven't had the courage or they haven't had the vision. This is what we call in the dunya boss game. To clown the white man, to make him look like a fool. And he's trapped. Remember, the Zionist is trapped. When any Americans see this, they're going to say, that's right, those Israelis. Now, you know, there's a whole group of white folks that already feel like we do. That white folks, not Nazis, whatever they call it. But when we mention the Jews, they, the Zionists, they don't warm up, but we put the focus where it belongs. Don't worry about me. Who's running your household? Who is showing all these white women on the movie running off with Negroes? There was Star Wars. Every movie now the Negro goes off with the white woman. That's not even fair. I mean, tell the truth. That's not even fair. That them white folks gotta sit there, white men especially. Remember, the white man don't have a mission right now. He was a chief, he won the wars. The white woman would walk along and fall down the stairs or fall down on this rock, and he would pick her up and he would save her from that, right? What's his job now? He don't know and they don't know. They haven't, look, this is super dangerous. To have that white man with all those weapons, and he got them, and to flood his community with opium. That means all the little churches in West Virginia, all them people, hey, man, I never thought I would feel sorry. Way back, I never thought I'd feel sorry. I do now. I mean, it's human. You know, you're a human. A Muslim becomes, the first thing he becomes is a human being. But also, they treated us like that. Right? And they treat poor blacks and blacks just like that. Now, y'all saw the thing in Phoenix, right? When the little girl was supposed to have the dog and police, just look on your phone and type in Phoenix arrest if you got it. This was probably Sunday. Was that Sunday, the little black girl? In fact, the girl's name was Aisha. They just type in Phoenix or Phoenix fiasco or Phoenix arrest or Phoenix police brutality, anything like that. But anyway, I'll keep talking. They got on camera, the guy, the police talking about, I'll pop a cap in your head. You know, regular brutality. I've seen them on C-SPAN twice, yesterday and the day before. Anyway, brothers, let me finish up the story. This is a story of Negro instigation. It's relentless propaganda. Remember this over and over and over again. Relentless propaganda against the Zionists, and against the Americans, and against the Saudis. Relentless propaganda. Why is the propaganda relentless? Because the shaitan is relentless, right? He don't never slow down. He don't never quit. And if you overpower him, he'll just say nice stuff for a while, but he's coming back. So this is how you trap these people. Relentless propaganda. That's what it's been. Relentless counter-Zionist propaganda. This is a story of Negro instigation. And our research had proved that the way Iranians think, the way Americans think, and the way we got them down pat. else we couldn't do this. That is, the different factions of Iranians. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. When I used to give lectures, after a few years, they would ask me, what are we going to do? Like in Iran, what are we going to do? They would ask me, the Iranians would ask me, what are we going to do? Evidently, they knew all the people in the Daftar, everybody knows. They got people that collect all the information. They got an office down there, collect all the American, Western. They used to get all the newspapers, all the articles, and send them back. This is 15, 20 years. Now, the people there can download all that stuff themselves. So they can keep the flow of so-called American thinking. When I go to the University of Tehran and I give talks in English like the one I gave in the newspaper, they don't have people studying this stuff. They're studying the damn newspapers. It's like, I had a discussion with Salah about the police dealing drugs in our community. You know what he told me? I have did my research and I haven't found any evidence of that. The one thing they don't do, they don't print it in the Wall Street Journal about what they're doing. He was serious. And he went to court. You know, they used to have all the Bosnians in jail 15 years ago when they was putting everybody in jail, the paint bombers and all of that. He says something stupid like, well, you wouldn't say that if you went to court like I did. You went to court, the damn court. The judge there said, I don't want that in this court. This is my court. As if you're going to hear the truth in court.
Justice.
Anyway, I'm going to speed up. Here's the kicker. Remember, I told y'all, it's a verse in the Bible. It's about Jesus. All eyes shall see him, but he'll come like a thief in the night. Does anybody remember that? That's in the Bible. That's in the New Testament. So whoever this person is, everybody's going to be seeing him. But they're not going to know nothing until he comes, like Negrocious the Great, and say, this is what we have done. We did a good job. This is what we're doing right this minute. And if you American people ask anybody in the Congress, any of them people downtown, what's going to happen in Iran? You are a damn fool. A big fool. If you want to know anything about that, you have to ask, not me, you ask Negro the Great, Negrocious the Great. That's who you ask. He's the only one with a track record. Nobody else has one. Forget it, forget it, forget it. They don't have it. From MIT, strategic studies, none of them. They don't have none of this. And if they did, would they have the courage or the tenacity or the sabr to pull it off? To sit there, everybody laughing at them. Like they're self-confident. There's a difference between arrogance and self-confidence. Arrogance is like Netanyahu. Arrogance is like Saudi Arabia. This young fool is effing up all the time, and he ain't getting no repenting, he ain't quitting nothing, he's getting worse by the day. Can you imagine? Yeah. See, if you F up everything, you either have to become a dictator and say, I'm right no matter what y'all say. Or do a little repenting, so well, I did blow that. So I'm only half right. After all, I'm human. This case seems like an assignment, a special mission. So the accuracy in human terms have been 99.9% accurate. Because this is a mission. It's Negro the Great, Negrocious the Great's mission, evidently. It has to be. Because everything from way back then up to now shows that all the places traveled, all the lessons learned. And there's another thing that I can say that Negrocious the Great would never say it. Negrocious the Great has the highest level of ethics I have seen. Other people got ethics, I don't know. Martin Luther King had ethics, but it didn't take in the cutie pies, right? Malcolm X had ethics, but if you come after his family, you would see him in the window with a rifle. Likely paranoid. Deserving is all right. You wouldn't see Negro the Greatest. You could whoop Negro the Greatest upside the head. You could steal the amount of money they stole or steals from Negrocious the Great is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But the ethics, the ability to hang on, is so high. So, we're going, and I know it'll be late for me, so we just let everything. Okay, I'll read some about the Spider Steve Emerson, Sean Hannity, Daniel Pipes, NSA, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and a host of other clowns. Masjid al-Islam in East Oakland is the only independent masjid that stands for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against American Zionism. Imam Musa will inshallah share case study after case study on how to practice psychological guerrilla warfare. Is that still on?
Yeah, I had to switch cameras. Was the other one.
Okay, but it switched right back on.
Yeah.
College of Strategic and Islamic Studies will give hands-on experience on how to make U.S. agents and collaborators expose themselves. Learn how Masjid al-Islam has